back to my channel. For today's video, I decided to do a video today based on cutting the negative energy cord and what happens when you cut the negative energy cord. Based on this meditation and different ways you can use it and how it can change your life in many different ways. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're also going to be talking about an herb, how this herb can also help you release some energy from the past as well. So if you're trying to release a lot of shit from the past and cut a lot of cords, I'm going to tell you how you can use this herb in cutting negative attachments. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. Okay, so let's talk about cutting the negative cord and attachments and how actually two different herbs that actually have changed my life can actually help you as well release a lot of attachments from the past, and some different ways you can release things from the past by maybe finding some things from your home, or just, you know, just doing things naturally. So this cutting the negative cord meditation, what it does is it helps you release anything that is attached to you. And the more and more you do it, the more consistent you are with it, the more it releases a lot of attachments that were attached towards you. And now let's talk about let's talk about some examples. Let's talk about how people get so attached to people easily. Let's talk about attachment issues. So I did a mother-father healing. I did a twin flame healing as well. I did the mother-father wound healing to release some things, and I had this thought when I was meditating that the reason a lot of people get so attached to things is because here's how I look at things. So when it comes to words are such a powerful thing. When you say the words "I love you" to somebody, you're creating a cord and attachment. And once you say "I love you" to somebody and you create that attachment towards that person, you attach a cord towards them. For example, imagine this string as a cord. And now you said "I love you" to somebody. Attachment right there. You say, "I want to get married to you, spend the rest of my life with you." Attachment, a cord. You say, "Let's have kids together." Attachment. And if you have not healed if you have not done any father wound, mother wound, or if you have not done a lot of healing, when you get attached to somebody, you create this cord, this attachment towards that person, and you can't release it because you have a cord connected towards that person. So for me, it's always been easy for me to like release myself from people, and that's why I've always been able to move on so quickly from people. And people have always wondered, like, why do you move on so quickly? Why do you move on so quickly? How do you just cut somebody out of your life and be done with them? Because I once had that attachment with them, and once I cut those cords and shit, and then you would cut those cords, it's no longer attached. So if I were to cut this piece of string off, it would no longer be attached. So if I had my scissors over here, I would go ahead and cut this off so you could see. I would say, I release my attachment from this person or this and that. Cut. And then I feel like something had been released off of me. So when you can even say words like babe, baby, my love, love. You can say the most simplest words towards somebody, and boom, you have an attachment towards that person. Now now you're attached to that person. There's a cord that is connected towards that person, and now you're attached to that person. You get into a relationship with somebody in high school, and then you guys break up a year later, and maybe you had sex with that person. You have an attachment towards that person because you had sex with that person. This is why sex, first kiss, holding hands with somebody, this is why being intimate with somebody, for me, is a sacred thing. And once you start to look at something as a sacred thing, you start to look at it as like, oh, I value something more. And once you value yourself more and you learn to value yourself more, you learn that you don't want to make these attachments towards people. So say you speak to somebody and somebody says, I'm going to give you this. And then you respond with thank you or okay. You just created an attachment. You just created a cord. Now you have another cord that needs to be released. And this is where cutting cord meditations come in. So there are so many different ones. This one right here, this one's for your chakras. That one's also a very good one. There are so many on here. You could literally try so many different ones, and that allows you to cut cords. So if you cannot get over an ex or anything, you have some sort of attachment towards that person. If you cannot get somebody out of your fucking life, there was an attachment. If you used to be friends with somebody, there was some type of attachment because you consider that person your friend. Because here's the thing, I've always looked at things like, even with relationships, I never did relationships because I knew that there was always going to be an attachment towards it, and I never wanted to have that attachment because if I got myself attached to something or somebody, then I would have to do some fucking spell work or something to cut that person out of my life and to release those attachments. So it's like this. And once you release all these attachments and the cords and shit, this is how your cord looks. This is how you look. Because you once were attached to something or somebody, and now you're free from that person. And that's exactly what a cutting the negative energy cord does. It cuts a lot of negative energy. So if you were to do a negative energy cutting, for like a month straight, I guarantee you would cut a lot of fucking cords. If you have a soulmate or somebody and you want to tap into their energy and you want to help them cut cords from a certain miles away, or your soul family or some shit, you tap into that energy, you do a cutting the negative energy cord, you set your intentions for that, to cut those cords for anybody, and then you're free. You're no longer attached towards that person. So if this makes any sense to anybody watching this, then you're probably at a time on your spiritual healing journey where you have done a lot of cutting cords attachments and you still need to do some, because we all still have things that needs to be healed. No matter how spiritually high you are, you still always have some type of cord to detach yourself from. So like, say you're trying to move out of your hometown, and when you leave your hometown, you're about to leave your hometown. Say you're leaving in a week, and that day that you're about to leave, you set your intentions to do a cutting the negative cord energy healing meditation, and you set the intentions to cut these cords. You just cut those cords of that hometown that you used to live in. So if you need help cutting some type of cords from somebody, you can do this. Now, if you have any time leaves or you own any rosemary, take a spiritual bath. Put this in your bath. If you decide to vacuum your room, this is really good to also as well. Spread some of this out on your floor. Get some baking soda. Baking soda removes energy. This removes a lot of shit from the past. So this is also a good way to cut energy cords as well. So say you decide to do an energy cutting cord, then you decide to go take a bath or some shit. You're cutting more cords and shit, and you're releasing yourself from what used to be. So if you want to cut a lot of energy from your fucking room, make sure to, you know, go clean up, put some baking soda on it, set your intentions for the baking soda to remove all negative energy, set the intentions for the thyme leaves or the rosemary to, you know, release all negative energy from your past. And you can do this. You can even put this in a spray bottle and set the intentions that this water is to remove all negative energies from your room or from your space, and it will remove anything and everything from that space. And once you do decide to, you know, start cutting these cords and feel like you need to cut these type of cords, you feel freed from a lot of shit. And you also start to understand that once you start to cut your own negative cords and shit that people have attached towards you, you realize that other people around you have cords that they are still tied down to that they need to cut as well. So if you're looking to try to cut any cords and shit, try to take a thyme leaf bath with some baking soda, some rosemary, some, you know, lemon, some lime juice, whatever you find on TikTok, the Instagram, the Pinterest, whatever. Do your own research for herbs and shit and look up what these herbs are good for and try them out for yourself. And if you feel a difference afterwards, then you know that they worked. So allow yourself to easily remove these cords one day at a time and allow yourself to just go with the flow. Because once you go with the flow and you start to realize that these cords are being detached from yourself, you realize things are so much easier now once you start to do that. So I hope you like this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I hope this helped anybody out there who is trying to cut any negative cords from anybody, especially from toxic family members, toxic co-workers, toxic people around you. It actually does help, because what time does, it releases you from your past. And cutting negative cords energy, if you were to do these things at the same damn time, say you were to do the cutting negative cords meditation or any type of meditation, and then you were to clean your room, then go take a bath and put this in your bath water and put any other herb in your bath water to bring love and all of that shit, it not only would free you from some cords that people have attached towards you, but it cuts those cords and allows people to not attach their energy towards you. So if you decide to do the cutting energy every single freaking day because people around you are trying to have some type of attachment towards you, you're releasing those attachments maybe even at the end of the day, and people no longer can attach themselves towards you because you've freed yourself from that, and they are attached to the old version of yourself. And for me, after I have detached myself and cut the cords from my old version of myself, I realized that I am this new person living in this house with my family, and I cut a lot of cords and shit, and they're still stuck on the old version of me, and I pick up on that energy pretty easily. And allowing myself to realize that, it allows me to remove myself from that energy in any of those situations. So once you do release yourself from the past, you release yourself from the old version of yourself as well, and you cut those cords with yourself as well, it makes a huge difference. So if you are looking into trying to cut some cords and attachments, first cut attachments that people have towards you and set those intentions and meditate upon that shit. Use the herbs and shit, and I'm telling you, it literally works like a fucking charm. It fucking works. It will help you so much that people won't even be able to attach themselves to the new version of you because they're still attached to the old version of you, and people are going to try to pull you back to that version of yourself, but you can't let them, because you're now in this new version of yourself, and you're now able to release what no longer is served because you no longer are that version of yourself. So if anybody's trying to hold on to that old version of you, allow them to hold on to that old version of you, because that's not who you are anymore. Because they are so uncomfortable that you're changing that they can't grasp a new version of you. And since they can't grasp that new version of you, you release that shit. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! Peace. And I hope this helped anybody out there trying to cut negative cords and attachments.